Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ayana. For you guys who are new here, I run a candle business by the name of So Yaya, and I use my YouTube channel to document my candle journey for you guys. In today's video, I will be outlining some of the risks that is associated with candle making and also to explain the importance of having a candle liability insurance policy. This is a question that many of you have asked me many times before, and I've hinted at having candle insurance in previous videos, but I didn't really go in depth giving you guys a full formal introduction of what candle insurance is and all of those good things. In today's video, I will be doing a breakdown of the different types of liability insurances, show you the average cost, and then also show you how you can go about getting affordable insurance for your business. Whether you're a candle maker who sells candles out of the comfort of your own home, or you sell for markets, or you have your very own brick and mortar store, you are considered a candle business owner, and therefore you are required to have candle insurance. It is your responsibility as the business owner to make sure that you purchase small candle business insurance. Just want to make sure you're staying protected from any claims coming from a defective product, a dissatisfied customer, or even property damages. You really just never know. I did want to state that if you do already have candle insurance, you want to make sure that you're double checking your policy and what all it actually covers, just to ensure that you are fully protected against all fees and loss should a product be determined that it was faulty. A lot of times we get insurance and we have exactly no idea what we just purchased. We don't know what all it entails, don't know what it covers or what it does not cover. So we just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and just making sure that we know exactly what our policy covers. Like I said, many people misunderstand what general liability covers versus what the product liability covers. What is going to be the differences between general liability and then your product liability? So general liability insurance will account for expenses that are resulting from situations such as an employee of yours getting injured while working, or when a customer suffers from injury caused by your negligence, or when your business is being held liable for property damages. Aside from general liability, you then have product liability insurance, and that just applies to protecting your business from claims resulting from faulty products. Another thing with general liability, you want to make sure you have general liability if you were to be working vendor markets, you do flea markets, or you're setting up somewhere like in a shop on like a day-to-day basis, or every weekend you set up. A lot of times those vendor markets will require you to have general liability insurance. Just make sure you're double checking which type of insurance they require you to have, if any at all. Most common claim that the product liability insurance candle makers cover, so it's typically going to be things like popping or exploding wicks, the broken glass. Maybe you had a little crack in your jar and then the customer continued to light that candle although they knew that there was a crack in that jar, and then the candle ends up exploding, causing injuries, or even just a faulty candle that causes a fire. So if a customer could claim that your product was defective and it caused them injury, harm, or any property damages, product liability coverage can help cover the resulting court fees, if you have any legal defense costs, or any out-of-court settlement costs. I want you guys to always remember that we live in a world now that if the customer knows, or whoever gets a hold of your candle knows, that it was not necessarily your fault that caused the initial effect of whatever happened, they're gonna want somebody to blame for that, especially if that racked up hundreds and thousands of dollars of damage. They're gonna want somebody to blame for that. So they're gonna come after you because your candle was a part of the situation. So just make sure that if anything like that was to happen, they were to come after you, you are covered. That brings me to kind of one of my biggest questions that I've always get is, which insurance do I need for my business? Product liability insurance or general liability insurance? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, ideally I think both, because general is going to provide you with that coverage against the most common small business claims, while product liability covers the damages relating to your products or the completed services. I think if you're primarily selling online, product liability is probably going to be the bare minimum coverage that you should have, because it covers the damages once the candle reaches someone else's home. And I get this question a lot too. Well, I only sell wax melts. Does candle insurance apply to me at all? And yes, same as general candle insurance, wax melts fall in that category. That's why it's very important that you guys are talking to your different agencies and seeking out different quotes, because with the insurance, so many different factors play into how they're going to determine what your premium rate is going to be, and we'll get a little bit into that in just a second. So this just brings me to my next question. Do I need insurance if I already have my LLC? You guys, this is such a great question, and I've been wanting to answer this question for you guys, so I'm going to give you my little take on why I think you still need insurance, although you may have your LLC or you may not. So I do want to touch on the boundary between having your LLC and candle insurance and why you need both. An LLC is going to limit the personal liability for the owners and the situations where the customers might hold the business responsible for the damages. Insurance is still needed for an LLC to cover. You have instances where a customer might be liable for those defective products or negligence, such as power burning a candle for longer than the 4 hours. You guys know how we will put those candle instructions in there, and we tell customers, do not burn this candle longer than 4 hours, but do they listen? No. And I also want to point out, you guys, and I'm just going to go on a little tidbit here. You at once upon a time was an avid consumer of candles yourself. You know you did not follow any candle instructions for those candles. And I can say, honestly, I didn't, because I just didn't know. I didn't have that knowledge of what all went into taking care of your candles to make sure that they were running properly and that I was sustaining longevity of my candle by taking care of it properly. That is why a lot of candle makers, it's not required of us, but we make sure we give those candle instructions so that customers are able to properly take care of that candle and make sure they're getting full quality out of their candle. I like to tell people, although those candle instructions, the candle care cards, aren't necessarily required by you, it's definitely something that you want to do so that more people can gain the knowledge of what all goes into taking care of candles, because it is a lot, especially if you want to have a consistent, good quality candle. Okay, so back on track. There are instances where the customer can be held liable, and that could just be negligence, such as power burning the candle, again, longer than the 4 hours, falling asleep with the candle on, leaving it in low spaces where kids and pets could possibly knock it over. I mean, there's just a plethora of different things. So while the owner is not personally liable, meaning whoever is coming after your business can't go after your personal assets, this just means that the LLC will now be liable, and it will have to pay for whatever damages if the lawsuit were to be successful. So that is why I personally believe that if you do have your LLC, that doesn't just protect you. You need to get candle insurance. Hopefully that breakdown kind of gives you a total breakdown of the differences of what's covered by which. Also keep in mind that yes, local laws and the specifics of your policy leave a wide range of possibilities, but in some jurisdictions it might be totally possible for somebody to sue you for additional damages above what your candle policy covers. So you always just want to double check and make sure what all your policy covers, and don't just think, well, if I have my LLC, I'm good, or if I just have candle insurance, I'm good. You have to have a few things in place to make sure that you are covered. But again, there has been instances where the customer still will win a case against you. So just make sure that you do take the necessary precaution, make sure that if anything were to happen, you are good. Okay, so I know at this point you guys are like, oh my God, that's so much information to take in. I know you are wondering, how much is this candle insurance gonna cost me? Like, what is it gonna run my pockets, right? So with candle insurance, expect to pay anywhere from $60 a month to $750 up to $1,000 per year, and that is going to be for your $1 million general liability insurance policy. Keep in mind that your rates may cost more or less just depending on the factors such as the type of products that you sell, how large your shop is, whether you are selling from your home or your brick and mortar, annual sales, past insurance claims that you may have had, also your personal credit score as well. I will be listing down in the description box different insurance policies that I have researched that you can take a look at and do your own additional research on. Make sure you are calling around and getting different quotes, and you don't want to go with what you heard someone else have because they are a huge candle maker, or you're in those candle making groups and someone told you their quote and they live in a completely different state than you. So you want to make sure that you're calling around getting different quotes. This is not going to be a really quick, easy task. This is something that probably can take you all week if you're splitting it up. So just know that it can take you some time, but just make sure that you are allocating time towards that, because it is so important that you make sure you get candle insurance. A lot of times people ask, I get candle insurance before I make candles, or should I get candle insurance after? Like, when is an appropriate time for me to get candle insurance? And I personally think before you sell your very first candle to anybody outside of family and friends, you know, people that you know personally, I mean, even then, you still want to have candle insurance. How lenient do you think someone's going to be if your candle burns their house down, you know? So you just don't want to put yourself in a situation to where anything could happen and then you didn't make sure that you were covered. So to answer that question, I would say get it before you start your candle business. That way you just have something in place, and you know that if anything were to happen, even if you get the very bare minimum basic insurance, at least you have something. But you want to make sure that once you start selling to the general public, that you have every single policy that's gonna cover your business in case anything were to happen. Also wanted to mention to you guys to make sure that you're checking with your local town insurance agencies. A lot of times they're gonna be the ones to go above and beyond to make sure that you get the best quality rates. A lot of times we go with these companies, these big name companies, or we go with these companies that just started appearing a few years ago because we heard that someone else has it. But don't forget to just check locally. So you guys, I know that was so much information to take in, and I know a lot of it's probably like, what? Like, that's just another thing that I have to think about, and that's why I make these videos. I want you guys to know that candle making, it just takes a lot to even jumpstart your business. I know we see those videos that say like start your business with $300. Like, yeah, maybe supplies, maybe, but to actually get started and to make sure that your business is legal, it's so much that goes into the candle making world. And so I'm just here to try to share my journey with you guys so that you can have a leg foot forward in getting your business started. So that pretty much concludes our video for today. I hope you have a little better understanding of what all goes into candle insurance and what all it means. And if you have any additional questions, don't be afraid to ask me anything in the comments section. I try to do my best to respond to everybody. Don't forget to let me know additional videos that you guys would like to see in the future. As always, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to turn on those post notifications so that you know every single time that I post a video. Make sure you like this video. It helps me out a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.